Hello there, and welcome to episode 179 of the FlameFlash.net podcast. I'm FlameFlash, and we have Nail Fury.
Meow.
There we go. So, how you holding up, bud?
Uh, Frustrated and um tired.
Yeah. Now, I know one of those frustrations is because yesterday the PlayStation Network went down, and you would like to play some Helldivers. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And that means, too, for those that aren't familiar, that you basically can't play online with anything with the PlayStation at the moment. So that means no Marvel Rivals. That means no if a person plays Call of Duty on their PlayStation, they don't get any duty.
Eh.
So they're very constipated at this point. But they just have to wait until Sony resolves whatever in the world is going wrong. And the last I looked, they hadn't released any announcement as to what was going wrong, so it's just down. It's down. You can't use it. Sorry. Haha.
Yay.
Fortunately, streaming services still work. So I know your brother is out in the living room right now watching something on the TV, rewatching. What was it? Rewatching the Sonic movies. Cool. And so, yeah, you know, streaming services work no problem on the PlayStation. It's just the gaming that doesn't work right now,
Yep.
which is a shame. But otherwise, gaming wise, um, Love is in the Air event in World of Warcraft is going on, and Lunar Festival is going on. Like there's a weird overlap week where there are two festival events going on at the same time in World of Warcraft. It happens every year. It's weird. But here we are
Yep.
again. Here we are again. So the week last weekend, I believe I was flying around like a madman getting all of the Lunar Festival tokens so that we could get that mount because there's a new mount. And then like earlier in the week, I snuck on and ran around like a madman and got all of the tokens to get the Love is in the Air items that were new this year. Fortunately, there weren't many.
Yeah.
And those are a couple of the weird things that you, for instance, just aren't interested in doing in game, are you?
Correct.
Like the transmog, um, afterwards, the costume changes afterwards, those you're interested in. It's just the busy work to get them that you're like, meh, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, like on a personal level, and we won't go too deep into it, just more trouble at school and with the school. And hopefully the meeting next week will resolve that because otherwise you haven't had a lot of gaming just because of your energy levels, your mental
Yeah.
health, and your
Really
physical
so.
health. Your physical health is still healing and catching up too, since you have some internal issues going on as well.
Yeah.
So, is there any other like I saw you doing a little bit of Marvel Rivals, both yesterday and today, and then I guess you've been doing a little bit of Helldivers
Yeah.
before the network went down.
Yep.
Is they just added basically a backpack nuke to the game, didn't they? That is an excellent evil laugh, bud. What happened on one of those backpack nuke instances? I think I remember you telling me about.
Okay, so me and the entire team were at the extraction point, and the place was swarmed by bugs. I looked over at one of my teammates and saw their backpack, and I just went over. pressed the button and then ran.
And they looked at you for a moment, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like, bro, you did me dirty.
yeah. And then they removed their backpack to attempt to run away, but then they flew.
Whee!
Like they quite literally flew past me.
Wow. Just yeah. Well, pieces of them did, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it took out the bugs. It took care of the bugs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Um
his sacrifice was well worth it. Oh, Helldiver.
Also, um the new armor in that war bond um is basically Junkrat.
It looks like Junkrat from Overwatch.
No, when you die you explode.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. So just a last minute shoving the bird out into the air as you die.
Yep.
Nice. So those unfamiliar, Keila, with Helldivers, the war bonds are a thing you can buy in game with in-game currency, so you can earn it very, very slowly as well. And from those, you can unlock as you play other neat items. So in this case, the Hellbomb backpack or the exploding armor. Anything else new in this new Warbond? I don't think I've even logged in to see this new Warbond.
I think there's one more new thing, but I can't remember what it was.
Like a new major thing that you're excited about getting.
Um, so and so. I'm not too interested in this war bond, honestly, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. So you haven't picked this up. You're just seeing other people using it and you're taking advantage of the fact that they're going to just go and blow themselves up.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And honestly, I already have my own way of blowing myself up, and that's just running in with the orbital napalm as I dive into a heavy bug nest.
Oh, so you'll hold the thing that you're supposed to throw, but instead you come running, and as they kill you, your character drops it, and then they all get torched.
Yeah, I got like 100 kills the last time I did it in a
Wow.
row.
Wow. Okay, cool. That works.
Yeah.
Dying for the cause there, for Super
Yep.
Earth, for democracy.
There's been so many suicide bombers I've seen besides me just pressing the button. I've seen plenty of them press the button and go diving towards a bile titan.
Ooh, that would be another good way to take out one of those.
Yeah. Um
Like, eat me!
yeah.
Boom.
And I was fighting against bots one time too, and um one person did a salute emote and then just jumped right in.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hmm, there we
Lots
go.
of suicide bombers.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Any other gaming highlights?
Um, I'm giving the Winter Soldier a try in Marvel Rivals.
Oh, cool. So he's a DPS.
Yep.
Cool. What does he do then?
He is definitely a strong character. Um, I love his ultimate. what he does is basically turn his arm into multiple tentacles and then slam it down onto a enemy or multiple enemies. And then if he kills someone with, um, by the way, his ultimate makes their health um have a red bar inside their health bar. And then if their health reaches that red bar, they die.
Oh, okay.
And if he kills someone with that red bar, he gets the ultimate back and then can do it again.
Oh. Oh no. Okay. So it'll just bam, thank you. Bam, thank you. Bam.
Yeah.
Oh
And
no. Okay. Hmm.
however, the new ultimate that you get after killing them does have a time
Uh,
limit.
okay.
So
So
you can't just kill someone, hold on to it for the rest of the game.
so it's more I'm going to try to take out the entire team, but then once they respawn, you're at zero because the entire team was taken out and slammed around.
Yeah,
That's a good balance. That's a good balance.
because some people on TikTok, from the TikToks I've seen, um, would have that. One of the TikToks was scariest voice lines for Ultimates in Marvel Rivals, and the last slide was armed and dangerous, and it showed the traumatized soldier picture.
Okay.
They had,
Maybe. Hmm. Is that a meme?
yeah.
Okay, traumatized soldier meme. Hmm. I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay, keep going while I'm looking that up. Traumatized.
Um, they had that photo with the words armed and dangerous because that's the Winter Soldier's catchphrase.
Oh, okay. Yep, I found it too. So just the dead stare, the yeah, okay. Yep. I remember
Yep.
that one.
But I've seen so many people just pretend to be afraid of it as if it was life threatening and real.
Nice.
Um, Also, if you're good as him, he's pretty overpowered. If you're good as him.
Well, that's the weird thing about Marvel Rivals is that if you're good with a character, you're going to dominate with them, and if you're not, you're not. And they feel unbalanced when you're strong player of the character, Iron Fist, but when the player isn't a strong player of that character, they're easily trounced. So that tells me it's actually more balanced than you think because otherwise everybody who plays Iron Fist is going to be dominating. And that's not the case.
Yeah. Um, One thing I like about Winter Soldier is that his abilities allow him to gain like shield on his health.
Ooh. So that way you can take more damage as you are stepping into the fray to, slam bam, thank you.
Yeah, because Oh, by the way they balanced that, the shield thing, I think was really awesome.
Better go clean up after yourself, bud.
I'm not that messy anymore.
Good boy.
Um, his abilities have all three of his abilities have a cooldown of 12 seconds.
Oh, okay. Another decent balance. You can't spam anything.
Yeah.
Hmm. Cool.
Um, his gun does a hefty amount of damage too, which is why he only has three bullets that he can shoot.
So they've balanced his distance firing by just reducing the rate that he can shoot
Oh no, he quite literally only has three bullets in his gun.
between respawns or what?
Um, like once he runs out of ammo, he can reload, of course, but he just has three bullets every reload.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what I was picturing.
Oh,
Cool, cool, good, makes sense.
so honestly, Bucky is a pretty balanced character in my opinion.
Awesome. Hmm.
However, if you're new at him, you will definitely die. Like 100%. I have played like three quick plays as him, constantly dying.
Yeah, so you're learning the character. Makes sense.
Yeah. And eventually I did learn the character successfully, and I just slowly started dominating.
Nice. Awesome. Okay.
Practice makes perfect, y'all.
Exactly. Exactly.
However, what you shouldn't do is be practicing and competitive.
Oh, I'm sensing a rant coming on.
Um, I have been in multiple competitive matches, and so many people, except for one or two others, have said, "Please don't be mad at me. I'm new at this character." Don't practice on competitive.
Don't practice on competitive.
Because like I even asked like, um, do you mean you're recent at the character and you did a good job in quick play? And they quite clearly went, no, I just came straight to competitive.
Ugh.
And then you remember that Venom I told you about?
Oh yeah, the one that you two were the only ones on like your mains.
Yeah. That Venom was just yelling the crap out of the newbies. Pretty much lecturing more so rather than yelling. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, guys, get on a character you're familiar with, please. We're in competitive. This is
yeah.
not the place to experiment.
And I actually said that, and they said, "Oh no, we just got this game."
Oh no. Guys, you're in the wrong mode entirely. No.
So my my Venom tank was so pissed at them.
Wow.
Like even in the chat, he said, "I wish I could reach through the screen and smack every one of you."
Well, yeah. Huh.
Luckily, me and my Venom were good enough that we still won, but we had to heavy carry our entire team.
Wow.
You want to know how many deaths me and Venom had?
How many?
I had three deaths. He had one. And then everyone else had 11 or above.
Uh,
You have you have no idea how many ults we had to face on our own. It was a lot.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, brother. Any other gaming anecdotes?
Um, well, you know how I'm bad at driving in Helldivers?
Yes.
Have received my karma.
Oh, okay.
Um, I was on the heavy machine gun on someone else's car, and at one point they crashed into a wall, and I flew over that wall
Whee.
into a heavy bug nest.
That's when having a Hellbomb backpack would have been useful.
Yeah.
Because you probably would have exploded on impact too. It just would have been eject, kaboom.
Well, I actually did survive because I had like um the 200 armor, and I threw down my orbital napalm. So,
Wow. That works.
I mean, I still died,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Fire in the sky.
yep.
Nice. Hmm. So, as we do, probably safe to shift gears then. Have you seen any more doom scrolling TikToks that you um, want to mention or ask after?
Um, Not really, actually. I haven't seen much of Trump. Have you seen anything recent?
Well, yes, there's been some stuff, but let's take a couple of steps back then. Keila came back, so hi Keila, and caught up on listening and had some reactions from our 173 episode actually.
Hmm.
So that's like a month and a week ago at this point. But we appreciate you coming back and catching up. And she was chuckling at the Russian fleet depletion that we were talking about back then, and how the spy satellites were all saying, look at this like 20, 40-mile line of tanks on the border in Belarus ready to charge into Ukraine.
Hmm.
And then nothing really came of that because the territory along that border was so treacherous and problematic that only a handful of the tanks made it through.
Dang.
So either all of those tanks were in very bad repair in the first place, or most of them were just kind of there and parked as shells and weren't really up and running. Either's very possible.
Yeah.
Like she reminded us of how bad Russian soldier morale is. And even if you look at more current events, the North Korean troops, they're getting slaughtered, the ones that are being sent out, because, again, they're not very well trained. They're not very well experienced. They're just kind of moseying out there and dying.
Oh, dang, seriously?
So Russia and now North Korea are basically just kind of throwing bodies at the quote unquote Ukraine problem from their perspective and hoping enough get through that they can, accomplish something. It's pretty terrible, really, when you think about it, for even their own people.
Yeah.
Or, a random Russian soldier will just be like, yeah, I surrender. Please feed me. Please take care of me properly because I'm not interested in fighting anyway. So just, I surrender.
Yeah.
Um, she also, it sounds like we were talking about what the fallout would be from ice raids, from migrants, whether they're legal or not, getting gathered up. And we're starting to see it's a good parallel because over on TikTok, there's some trending. Ooh, I just saw a pop up saying PSN is back up and functioning.
Yes.
So I know what you're going to go want to try to do once we're done here. But Coke reached out to ICE and they're like, hey, we have some migrant workers here. We're going to summon them all into a meeting and you can just take them. And this
Wow.
was just at one Coke plant. It's not like the company policy, but it's such bad PR that Pepsi is selling out in a massive wave compared to Coke products now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a big oh dang because people are just avoiding Coke products now. And really, honestly, people should probably just be avoiding soda in general for your health. I used to absolutely love soda and was flying through it. I know you still, Nail Fury, drink a lot of soda and probably shouldn't, but um, it's not a lot, a lot. We're monitoring it.
yeah.
It's one of your mental health comfort items, unfortunately, and it's a heck of a lot healthier than smoking. So we'll leave it alone for now.
Yeah.
But migrant dependency on food processing is also a thing, like in butcher plants, like the Tyson chicken plants, and where they're processing meat and harvesting meat from animals. Typically, the average American doesn't want to do that kind of job, so that's another migrant workers heavy field, just like produce gathering in the fields or the construction industry, roofing, or getting up way high. So yeah, it's pretty wild there.
Don't most illegals work and then like for free and then have a house and food provided for them?
Oh no, no, no. They're working just as hard as or not if not harder because it's they're having to work in plain in sight but under the table for the most part, so they're not, taxes aren't being reported on them as heavily. Companies take advantage of them and aren't paying them a fair wage sometimes. So they're working extremely hard. They're not getting anything for free. Like
Gotcha.
to be you have to be an American citizen to sign up for things like food stamps or anything else like that, really. So it's a common misconception that they get things for free.
Gotcha.
But to that, she also wanted to point out that judge a lot. You can know a lot about a person's character not based on how they win, but how they lose, how they're proven incorrect. Do they take responsibility? Do they apologize? And she pointed out, for instance, that our current president never apologizes when he's wrong, ever. And he's wrong a
Yeah,
lot. He's wrong a lot. So the fact that he never apologizes is just shows the caliber of character yet again.
he just doesn't want to accept responsibility.
Well, that too, yeah. And that's a pretty rough thing um, that we see just universally. People in power don't like to take responsibility or give responsibility. So they just want to sit there in power and dictate to others and demand of others, and that's that. But if they screw up, they won't own it. They'll make excuses, and then things will spiral worse, or they'll dig in and double down. And that's what Trump does. That's what these right wingers do. Your brother is trying to call me. I'm betting he's trying to organize a Marvel Rivals game. So we'll uh we'll keep we'll wrap up Keila's comments and then probably call it. Um,
Sounds good.
she also appreciated the importance of consistency, staying regular, of not just with one's bowel movements either, but with just having the routine, having the safety of routine, and definitely a neurospicy individual as well. Hi, Keila. Welcome to the club. We have cookies. And just how important consistency is for our mental health. The routine, the stability, adventures, spontaneity, they're all well and good, but you still need to know and trust that you're going to have food on the table, a warm bed to sleep in, and those kinds of things,
Yeah,
a roof over your head. And it's things that are taken for granted consistency wise, but they're still important things.
indeed.
Yeah, there's 501st chatter pretty hard. So, um, her last comment was appreciating the logic behind the plane crashes, and sadly, kind of need to report that because this is from a 178 reaction now, because she's all cut up. It looks like that there was another plane crash in Alaska. I saw it on my echo screen here mentioned that they finally found the plane.
Bruh.
It was a smaller plane, so you don't know if it's tied to everything else that had happened TSA wise, but it's a really weird coincidence that we've now had four American airspace crashes since Trump took office and did what he did to the TSA. Like, it's a
Yeah,
strong correlation that's really hard to ignore. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's a heartbreaking one too. I feel bad for these families.
Oh, you know how Trump has been trying to put the blame on Democrats?
He tries. Well, there's that lack of responsibility again. But yes, go on.
I've been seeing TikToks of the crazy people being like, he's telling the truth.
Uh, Fortunately, um, the justice system, even though it does move slowly, is moving. So I remember hearing that the federal worker buyout program has been delayed in court because court is like, you don't really have the legal authority to do this. I saw that Elon Musk's Doge group is being blocked from accessing some Treasury records. So the courts are doing what the courts can. What we have to watch for, what we have to be vigilant for as citizens, is making sure that Trump and anybody around him actually listens to the courts because the checks and balances are only going to work if he allows them to. And the courts are the weakest branch. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens based on some of these decisions.
Yeah.
Because it's an interesting triangle because you have, you know, the executive pass who is supposed to execute the laws, do the things that the laws say to do, rather than make up stuff like he's been doing with his executive orders. Then you have the legislature, which, makes the laws and lays out the laws and outlines them and assigns money to places. And then you have the judicial, which is like, okay, are either of you allowed to do what you just did? Yes or no? But the judicial is only strong enough as the executive that listens and respects them, and the legislature that gives them money to do the things that they want to do. So that's how we have that triangle of checks and balances because the judicial branch can't do anything on its own. It just makes decisions.
Yeah.
So everything will break down pretty darn quickly if Trump and the executive branch don't honor and respect the judicial branch. And my Skype is going wild. Did you take your phone upstairs? No, it's down here. So thank you, Keila, for listening and catching up. We appreciate you stopping in, and we appreciate your video that I pulled most of those notes from. So if anybody else wants to join the conversation, podcast at flameflash.net, or you can leave a comment on the blog, on either blog, because I have the flameflash.net podcast, or the flameflash.net, that's the URL. But we also have the hidden RSS blog that feeds out to the various podcast networks of flameflashpodcast.wordpress. And then you also have the YouTube videos. So I'll see your comments regardless of where you leave them. If you don't want to leave them publicly, that's why we have an email address too. Is there anything last you'd like to add, Bud, before we find out how badly your brother wants to play Marvel Rivals?
Um, Not that I can think of.
Cool. Well, with that, then, I think we'll sign off on episode 179, which is probably going to be titled the Keila Catchup. So thank you for listening, Keila, and catching up.
Live with honor.
Indeed.